food camera. All right, first of all, we're going to make a chicken, spinach, and pesto pizza using a hamburger bun. So you can use a hamburger bun or a dinner roll. Just happen to have these on hand at home. I didn't go to the store to buy this. Like, what do I have? Let's make some pizza. So first, you want to start with toasting your bread. And you want to go ahead and drain your canned spinach and squeeze out the liquid as much as you can because you want it to be dry. You can also use frozen spinach here in this recipe. Same situation. You want to thaw it out and squeeze it to get all of the liquid out of it so it's dry. So I didn't measure anything here because I wanted to eyeball it, if you will. That's a professional term. And you can add more spinach if you want based on how it looks and how it tastes for yourself. Same as the pesto. So this is my 1 5-ounce can of chicken that I drained. I added a little bit of my squeezed spinach and a nice little dollop of pesto and a little bit of the pizza cheese that I have. So I'm just going to mix all of this up. I might have to add a little bit more of some of these ingredients, but that's fine. We don't have to follow recipes step by step all the time. The spinach is going to kind of clump up together, so we'll just take a minute to get it all mixed in there. And you can also layer these on top of your crust of choice. So you don't have to mix this all together. But what we like to do in the morning kitchen is take whatever sauce we're going to cook with and mix it with the canned chicken, because we think it helps to marinate the flavor of the chicken. And sometimes the chicken smell isn't all that delicious smelling when it comes out of the can. So this actually looks like a pretty good combo to me. I think I did a pretty good job eyeballing the amounts here. So, and it smells delicious. Here, if you like spicy, you can add some red pepper flakes or some extra black pepper. Totally up to you. I'm going to take my little jar of pesto and I'm going to add a little bit to my crust as my sauce base. You can add a little or a lot, up to you. I'm a big fan of toasting both sides of the bread. I meant saucing both sides of the bread. And then you're going to take your mix and you're going to put it right on top of your bread. So here's a little mini non-traditional chicken pesto spinach pizza. So if you want to, you can add your topping to the second half, or you can close it up and eat it like a sandwich. I would recommend putting it in the oven for a minute to just get the cheese to melt, because that's the best part of pizza, is the melted cheese. So this is one option, and this uses a food that we currently have in inventory at the food bank. So I'm going to close this up. That's how I would eat it. I would turn it into a sandwich. All right, that is option number 1. Now I'm going to move over to option number 2. Option number 2 uses our homemade pizza sauce recipe. So you can use the store-bought or already prepared sauce that you might find in the food pantry, or if that's not available, because it is not always available, you can take some tomato paste and tomato sauce, add enough Italian seasoning to your liking and some garlic powder. You might need a little bit of sugar to balance it out because those canned tomato products can be a little acidic. And voila, pizza sauce. You can use this. This is very similar to marinara, so you can dip your breadsticks in it, or you can eat it as spaghetti sauce if you want to, if you have any left over. So this is our pizza sauce, and I'm going to use it to make our next option, which I personally am very excited about. Because one thing that I grew up on was bagel bites. So you can make your own bagel bites. It is very simple to do. So you can use a big size bagel or mini bagels. So I've got these mini whole grain bagels here. All all you're going to do is get your pizza sauce, spread it on your little bagel, just like so. If you're saucy, if you like a lot of sauce, add as much sauce as you like. And then you're just going to take your pizza cheese and sprinkle it on top. And then you're just going to pop it in the oven or toaster oven, whichever you have, and toast it up and get the cheese nice and melty. One thing that I like to do to make it just one step extra, if you have it, you can add some oregano on top. Ta-da! Homemade pizza bagels, super simple. And fun fact about bagels, they have more protein than you think. They're not just a carb and a starch. So you're going to get a good source of protein too from using a bagel as your foundation of your pizza. All right, next option is this one is probably one of my favorites, and it's the most non-traditional of all of them. We're gonna make a taco pizza. So one of our shell options is a tortilla. So you can use whole grain flour, white flour, or you can use corn tortillas, whatever you have on hand. First thing you want to do is you want to, I prefer cooking spray, but if you don't have it, you can put a little bit of oil on a baking sheet and put your tortilla on it on one side and the other side, and just swish it around so you get a nice little thin layer of oil so it will crisp up when you put it in the oven. So this one is great. It's got some good crisp, and it's going to turn into a pillow in certain places like this, and that's totally fine. That's how it happens. That's how they work. So I did 5 minutes in a 400-degree oven, and I took it out to check on it. We're going to put it back in the oven after we add our refried beans and our cheese. So don't cook it all the way to super crispy the first round. So with this pillow, all I'm going to do is just flatten it out. Okay. It didn't fall apart. It just flattened it, so we've got a nice, good base for a pizza. So I'm going to take some refried beans, which we have in inventory. You can also make your own with a can of pinto beans. So I'm just going to spread it out. So it depends on your preference. If you like a lot of beans, you can add more beans. This is a really great source of protein and fiber here. It's a little hard to spread over this crunchy business, but it is fine. All right, just a good layer there. Refried beans layer. And then you're going to take your cheese, whatever cheese you have. I happen to have some like Mexican blend cheese. So I'm just going to sprinkle it over the top of my beans. I'm going to pop it in the oven just for a few minutes until the cheese is melted enough. So I just happen to have one already done here. So this is our nice melty base of refried beans and cheese. All you're going to do is choose your favorite toppings after that. So I've got some shredded lettuce to add on here for some like fresh and some crunch. I've got some black olives because you might come across these in a food pantry. I know that these are, you love it or you hate it, so your choice. Some black olives. And then I've got some Greek yogurt here. This is a good option to replace sour cream if you don't have it. Pantries that get food directly from grocery stores will often have the small cups of yogurt, so I'm using one of those, and you can just put yourself a nice little dollop in the middle or spread it around. And then I have these on hand at my house because you always get a bunch if you go through the drive-thru at this particular restaurant. So I'm reusing them, and I'm going to add them on top of my taco pizza. So you don't have to go buy some salsa. You just use what you got. I'm actually really excited about this, and this is what I'm eating this one for lunch. here is our taco pizza with the common and very easy to find items. And our crust is a tortilla, and you've got some refried beans as your sauce. Very reminiscent of a tostada. If we're thinking a more traditional Latino food. So we're going to call it a taco pizza. All right. One more. And this one is like not pizza, but a good snack option. Okay. Here we go. Got some diced tomatoes over here. I've got some crostinis as our base. Does this look familiar to anyone? So what I'm gonna make here with some simple items is a bruschetta. Some people call it bruschetta. I'm using canned diced tomatoes, which we currently have. So ideally you would use a petite diced tomatoes. They're really small. These were the chunky dice. So all I did was drain them and gave them a really good rough chop to get them into a smaller size. And I let them drain for just a little bit more so they're not super wet whenever you mix it all together. So when you make homemade bruschetta, you're going to have your chopped tomatoes, you're going to have some fresh basil, some olive oil, some salt and pepper, some garlic, and a little bit of cheese. So I don't have fresh basil, but I've got my pesto, which has basil in it. So I'm going to use that. So I've got my little bit of cheese and my basil and tomatoes here. All right. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder, add it to taste. You can use fresh garlic here if you have it. Just a little garlic powder. And I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper. Just a sprinkle. Mix it all up. Smells delicious. All right. So, simple bruschetta made with staple ingredients. Okay, so you're going to take your crostinis, or you can take some whole pieces of bread and cut them into 4 pieces and use those as little toast pieces. I just happen to have these on hand. So you're just going to add them to your little plate, and you're going to top them off with a little bit of your bruschetta. Just like so. To me, this is like a grown-up version of like pizza Lunchables. There we go. It smells so good. And there we go. All right. Delicious little healthy snack to tie you over until your next meal. Or maybe this turns out to be your meal. Nobody's judging. Nobody's watching. Okay, my friends. I hope that these ideas spark some interest in you, and maybe you'll think about making a pizza meal tomorrow for National Pizza Day. I would like to share that we're going to try to get a hashtag started. So if you make pizza tomorrow for National Pizza Day, please use the hashtag Pantry Pizza. Let us know if you got creative with something that is in your food, in your pantry, or you maybe got from your local food pantry. We want to hear from you and hear some other creative ideas for pizza. As always, you can find the key takeaways and the pizza framework to make your own homemade pizza in the link on the screen. That is bit.ly/ACFB Nutrition Resources. We hope to see you in a couple of weeks for our next episode on February 22nd. We're very excited. We're going to have a guest to join us in the kitchen. We're going to be celebrating Black History Month. So please join us for that. We're really excited about some of the recipes that are going to come out of that. So thank you for joining us. Make some pizza. Use the hashtag Pantry Pizza, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.